Well, Joe, looks like we're at it again. Again. Spending money where we don't really need to and putting opinions into places that really don't deserve to be placed.
I've been unemployed since July.
In this economy, who isn't? And what a great way to segue into this show. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It took us 2 years to get number one fat or number two get a black guy on in here so we can talk about pedals.
Hello, black guy.
Hello. This is a recession indicator, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ever conquesting problem that I have of digital gear. Is it real? Does it make sense? Why do we buy these things when things already exist? And today we're going to explore that and more because my buddy Max is here. Max,
hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Welcome to the Pedal Pimpz Show.
Thank you.
Joe and I are excited to have you here.
Our first guest.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, the very first guest. The very first
in
guest.
2.5 years.
Yeah, I went through the backlog and I was like, oh, wait, it is me.
So now, if this show doesn't do good, it's all on you.
That's fair.
Okay.
Eddie's not monetized yet.
That's
Yeah.
okay. That means I can say whatever I want. You're going to get demonetized.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not advertiser friendly.
We don't need. We're not child friendly.
He's just unwilling to do shorts. That's the problem. We talk about this all the time. Eddie,
So
shorts.
You wear shorts.
I love
You-
wearing
you
shorts
like
now.
wearing- you
I
like
hated it growing up.
You like wearing shorts on stage.
I don't like. It's not that I love doing it. It's
It's a way of showing
my
off
heroes
space.
do it.
So we're talking about like Dimebag.
Dime,
Shorts.
Mark Morton, death metal,
Yes, definitely.
Well, they're
overarching.
from Florida.
Yeah, like a lot of them are.
Completely unprofessional with shorts on stage, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, listen, if you roll up there in the friggin' and one basketball shorts, yeah, I'm gonna judge really hard. But like, listen, a good BDU pant cut off into camo shorts.
All right, so
It sounds good when you just start going.
and I'm glad we're starting there. So today we are looking at your gear entirely. So let's start off with this. What is this beautiful chunk of wood that you've got going on here today?
This is the Ibanez Iron Label Iceman 7-string because they don't know how to name them for regular people. It's the ICTB 721.
Mm-hmm. They're a Japanese brand named after a Spanish name.
Correct.
So they don't even know what they are.
And this is actually by no means stock at this point.
Yeah. So what have you changed on here now? officially?
Nothing up top here outside of I'm running NYXL strings. They're 11 to 64s.
Sponsor.
I got these like really nice like Geiger Precision or whatever
They're just
knobs. They're just
yeah.
like they're knobs. They
They're
got
bad though.
pentagram Baphomet heads on there.
And then now this is a new purchase which I helped you install, and
Yes.
it did poorly.
We did terribly, and then our good friend Tom fixed it.
It's that Walmart soldering iron, man. Gets you every time.
But these are the Seymour Duncan Black Winners. They're from the new rail series.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask, are they always rails?
Yes, so they were not always rails. These were, initially the Black Winners were like a hot rodded JB or something like that.
Right.
Or it kind of came out around the same time as like the Nazgul and stuff like that. Towards the tail end of last year, they put out rail series of all of those really high output ones, and these are screaming demons.
Yeah.
And the rails just help keep everything even.
It keeps it super consistent. What came stock in this guitar, if you buy this guitar right here today, you're gonna get the Marzio.
Super distortion.
No, they're not the Super Distortions. They're like the deactivators.
Deactivators.
The
Okay.
Marzio deactivators. Which, if you like 81s, if you like the 8185 thing,
I do like the 81.
and you don't like batteries, get those. I think they're a little boomy in the low end.
Especially 85s.
So they tend to. So the Marzios, while they are very good and they cut really well, the low end feels a little out of control.
Yeah. Now,
And because you're at the front of, and because the guitar is the front of your signal, if you're low end isn't as tight as it can be up front, there's nothing I can do about it.
Right. And now, because you're in a metal band,
Yes.
and that we can't really say what metal band is in there, do you use your neck pickup?
I've started to. And a lot of that has to do with these pickups, these ones, because when I say these are screaming demons, they're like the rail keeps it more consistent.
Right.
There's a lot more clarity. Even as passives, I think we're in a golden age of passive pickups. I think there is almost as
Yeah. Compared to what they were.
the clarity and attack and output at this point. If you like active voicing, that's cool, and like the Fishman stuff and EMGs, and like there's no reason to go away from that if you don't want to. But like this is, I think the DC resistance on here is like 20K.
So what do you know what K is your
These are 500s. They're 500s.
They're 500. Okay.
500.
Standard for humbuckers.
For humbuckers, just go with 500.
Okay.
Unless you were doing serious crazy doom drone metal, where you want all of that kind of mud and stuff like that because you're using it.
Yeah, I've seen.
You can go to 250s with humbuckers and use them and doing that with SGs and stuff like that.
There are 1,000K pots, so that's why I was like, is that part of the conversation here? Or
in my Jazzmaster, that's the 1 meg.
Yes.
You can do it.
It's usually
that way.
just for brightness and clarity, but
Right.
these need right in the middle. Not too bright, not too dark.
Right. Well, it's a great. Well, no, I honestly have had this instrument in my hand. It's like,
as we can see from all the fingerprints that
Yeah, right. That's the thing. That being a matte finish, it's a. I got a beer stain on here once from when I was doing a.
Do you like matte finishes versus the clear gloss, or it's just it doesn't?
I've had one. I mean, my LTD is a gloss finish. It's a masterpiece guitar. And I absolutely love that. And if I was somebody that was gonna get custom gear, I would just use that same aesthetic design language on this. Where it would be a gloss with the abalone furling and the cream binding and like that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
how did you come across this instrument? Because what I remember wholeheartedly was that I came to the rehearsal with a 5-string bass ready to go.
Yes.
And then that caused an avalanche of 7 strings to just magically produce itself.
I can't not give you credit for it.
I want to hear this.
It's a fun.
Look at the ego.
The 7-string story starts before that.
Yes.
When I first heard Trivium, there's a song called "Down from the Sky," which there's this crazy riff that goes. Whatever.
Yeah.
But just like that.
Don't copyright strike.
Don't copyright strike me. That's why I had to stop. But I first seen somebody playing a 7-string guitar.
Yeah.
It was the Matt Heafy's was when he was with Dean and he had that ML with the Rising Sun and everything like that on it. And I didn't see really a need for me at that point to have it, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And then obviously Korn exists.
Yes, of course.
Which
Which I have some ideas for later in the episode.
Oh yeah,
Corn on the cob.
We got a drop pedal. We can get nuts deep. We can get nuts deep and weird with it.
Now I was going to ask, the Iceman shape, is that a Paul Stanley thing?
No, it's honestly for me, the Iceman shape is a Dean Cadillac thing.
Okay, that's fair.
Now that is a very unique body type. I was actually talking.
I love the Explorer. I think the Explorer is probably the perfect guitar shape, but I also love single cut Les Pauls. And if you look at a Dean Cadillac is literally is a Les Paul bottom with an Explorer stacked on top of it.
Biggest problem?
I cut this in half, but I have the Metallica barb on there. It just looks a little meaner. And so what if the Dean Cadillac
was like a wizard?
Was the cool S that you used to draw on the back of your
Yes. the winged S logo of Sikorsky.
Yes.
It's the winged S logo.
Or Shelton High.
And so, how did you find this body? Because this was relatively new when it first came.
The Iceman's been around since the 70s. Like he says, Paul Stanley had one.
Well, yeah, but I think the 7-string
one, they ran a 7-string at some point in the either late 2000s, early 2010s. They had run one, and then when Ibanez did their Iron label, that was This was the 7-string that didn't have a friggin' tremolo on it and
It's
shit
always
like
got a
that.
Floyd or something.
Yeah, everything's got a Floyd or like, and we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hardstyle bridge because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing any of that. Hey,
No.
I'm a big fan of.
Consistency.
Yeah, like I have locking tuners up here. It probably means I give a about tuning stability.
Now, do you have a Graphtec nut or is that a stock nut right
This is the stock nut.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I'm probably going to do that, but that will be in a time where if I get like weird fret wear because these are nickel frets. $1,300. Unfortunately, you're still getting nickel frets. I think every guitar on this planet should. You just pay the extra $50 to get stainless steel.
I was gonna say you keep them immaculate. They're super polished.
This actually had just recently, maybe like a month or two ago, gotten back from the luthier who done the setup and everything like that.
That's fair.
Basically, the install job we did, so now they're great.
Listen,
Blame Eddie in the comments.
I'd like to say that if two reeds can get the job done, then no one can.
But that's the guitar. Like I use the neck pickup, and like I said, I now use the neck pickup because let's call it what it is. This neck pickup is probably sits from an output standpoint sits in the space of like pretty much everybody else's bridge pickup. Like this is.
It's music of aggression and plays blues lick.
Eric Clapton was talking about the woman tone, and he's like, it's so aggressive, and he plays the smoothest lead of all
Yeah,
time.
right. I mean, like that's the thing. Like,
Just the right frequencies.
yeah, that's the thing. Pickups only do two things. Like one pickup to another. In the same style, obviously, from singles to P90s to humbuckers, there's a difference there. But once you like switching from one humbucker A, passive humbucker A to passive humbucker B, all you're getting is output and maybe a little bit more clarity. And that's what this is. Because why do I have these pickups? So that it smacks the front of an amp really, really hot. So I get a really wicked hot signal punching that amp right in the teeth.
Awesome.
So I'm very happy that you have this guitar, and now since you mentioned it about hitting the amp in front of it, now let's go to the next segment of what makes the tone. What are we playing out of today, dude?
We are playing out of this guitar is going right into a Digitech drop, and that Digitech drop is just going directly straight into the front of the input of the Pod Go.
9.6 Pod Go. All right, now just so I understand this too, because I keep on asking you. This is supposed to emulate the, not only the amplifier, but the cabinet and just about every other pedal under the
Amp, cab effects, CQ, everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Reason being, and this is why, like I said, it's a recession indicator. I spent money on pedals, and I gotta stop doing that.
I can't blame you.
I can't blame you. At a certain point, like the tone you want is out there, and then you look at gear. And we can get into it once I start dissecting the signal chain here.
Right.
But you factor in, again, playing the kind of music that I'm playing. Do I want to spend $2,000 or $2,500 on a dual rectifier, a 5150 Stealth? Have to then transport it places. I don't make enough money to pay somebody to do that. It means I'm carrying it everywhere.
Eddie could do it.
I fuck no. You couldn't pay me to bring a 412.
Oh, I didn't say.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have to stack a 412. And then I gotta go out and source like early 2000 V30 speakers.
I mean,
an oversized Mesa cab and like that. And
if you want to be that nerdy about it, you can be. But like, so then, regarding not wanting to travel and spend that much money, what is actually inside here that makes the max sound go?
It's a computer.
It is a computer.
So it's a computer, and we can actually just push this button, and I can go through the whole chain.
Yeah, let's go through.
So the way the Pod Go works is, this is my input. I just have a gate on.
Right.
Because loads of gain passing through.
So where's the gate? Where's
the gate is right at the input. So basically, this drop pedal comes right in. The gate circuit is at the input.
So you already have a gate.
There's an onboard gate in here. There's an onboard gate circuit in here.
Okay.
There are gates you can add to your signal chains in the Helix and Pod Go ecosystem.
Have you compared it after the preamp gain and before the preamp gain to see if there's any noticeable difference? Or
Not really. The way I have this set up, I'm not doing anything weird. That's the thing.
You
I
just
don't do
emulating
anything
as
weird
if it
with
were regular.
Yes, I'm not doing anything
Gotcha,
weird. And this is why, and this is kind of where I think I like the pod go a little more.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we start off with the distortion pillars.
So the pillars, so you're going to catch a theme with this, and that all of these have really silly names because copyright's a thing.
Of course.
This is it's an Earthquaker Plumes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's an Earthquaker Plumes, and I have the gain at 1. Because having it all the way down, I just wasn't getting enough attack. Tones at about 8, and the level is maxed out. And on the Plumes, it has that switch where you can select the different modes. It's on 1, setting 1.
So it's on the hard clipping one?
Yeah, it's on the hard clipping. It's more like an amp gain, so I'm not getting that. Tube Screamers tend to mud out a little bit.
I'm having
Push them too a little hard. If you push them too hard.
But the Plume's EQ is a lot
Yeah, you
brighter.
get a lot more. Yeah, so I just have it on that setting.
That was probably like the best pedal Joe ever gave me.
Yeah, no, they're great.
Yeah, I'm a bad friend.
And in the Earthquaker Devices land, we're talking about like, hey, how much does all this cost? And it's like in the Earthquaker Devices land, the Plumes is super affordable
Compared to like the next
everything else in their catalog.
Only one downside: no battery.
And going in from there, we have
Is the Cali Rectifier,
which is
surprise,
the
surprise, is a dual rectifier.
Yes,
It's not a triple?
from Mason.
No, it's a regular dual rectifier.
How many rectifiers do we need?
There's the single, which they stopped making.
Yes.
Now,
This is so interestingly enough, and there's just like, oh, I'm a digital guy. I hate gear. I don't. I'm a rectifier nerd.
Now,
I think that's like.
Where are you on the SLO rectifier? Like who kind of?
If a Rev A exists, yes, the preamp circuit on like a Revision A rectifier is a Soldano.
Yes.
The power sections are completely different.
Yes,
like the
right.
Mesa power section, and a lot of what makes them a dual rectifier, that sound,
It's because
is the magic is in the power
you can
section.
have a tube rectifier and you got the American 6L6s or
Yeah, 6L6 power section. The diode rectification is a little bit better than the tube rectification for what we're doing here.
yeah, of course.
So,
But
That's why it's a dual rectifier.
yes,
You can choose
because
between.
you were able to switch them.
So I want to try this out over here. All right. So what I want to do now is I want to go through just what the amp and this bad boy is doing, and I want to turn everything off except for the IR as well. So
Okay,
So, like,
so
how do
that
I-
would just be.
Now for room use, we're using a QSC,
So I can bypass it right there.
but we're also
and then
So
this,
nothing else is on.
And
The
then,
audio
yeah,
The
that
room
you're
reverb is we'll get to.
Yeah,
the audio that you're
exactly,
going to be hearing is
exactly.
going to be recorded
Exactly.
directly into the interface, so this is super clean. Just
exactly. And so like yeah. So let's hear.
So this is with just the.
Actually, you know what? I let me just hear what this sounds. Yeah, let me just hear this.
Oh, just unboosted?
Yeah, just
So-
unboosted.
So the problem with the rectifier, and this is as somebody who loves it, I will tell you, it's one of the upfront problems. There's a lot of low end on tap, and that's a lot of why a lot of people prefer it, myself included, to the 5150. The 5150 is super, super tight and super articulate, but you don't get as much low end out of it. You don't get as much meat.
and to be honest, 5150 and 6505 are kind of fizzy more than
They get
crunchy.
So getting modern high gain out of a rectifier took one of two things. You either got really fizzy because you're boosting all your presence and all your treble to compensate for it, or it was just Mud City.
And then putting a tube screen.
So
Listen
putting
to any pop punk or heavy metal record from 2000 to 2009.
high point of heavy music. I think, like, and this isn't me telling people that music peaked when I was in high school and it sucks now, because that's not the case. But I think that heavy music from like the early to 2000s through to like the mid 2010s disproportionately has aged better. Like everything
Attack. I remember being- I remember
Ultimate
being-
Valentine,
Chevelle.
Trivium.
Chevelle Wonder What's Next has one of the best heavy tones. It's not
Yeah,
even a
Trivium,
metal.
Shadow Spell, Kill Switch, Lamb of God,
Oh my
Behemoth,
God,
like,
Lamb of God,
so
too.
all of those bands, and it's like,
Load, reload. Wait, no.
Okay. Okay, so let me hear. I'm gonna turn this. I'm gonna turn your pillars on and off. So give me a riff so I can hear it one more time.
getting the clipping. It's also giving a little extra hair on top.
Exactly.
It's tightening up.
It's punching my attack a little further.
Right. So we've got the amp. I mean, we've got the amp now. And then what is the next thing that you put in?
Is a 10-man EQ, and that's much more of a live thing. So because like even we just heard it right there. That's honestly that is a workable tone up front.
Yeah. No, I'd be pretty set with that and be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the gig now and just like play out like that.
Lowered expectations.
In a live setting, and this is some. I'm gonna bring in some like real old world.
Real trap. Real
Old
trap. Trap.
You go back to orchestral music,
Okay.
probably even further to like cavemen sitting around with a flute and vocals. Music in a group setting works because everybody's kind of occupying their own kind of sonic frequency band, and everybody's kind of occupying their space.
Gotcha.
Like everything from like full range of human hearing, 20,000 hertz, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Like everything from like 50 to like 200 hertz. That's all your bass, and then you have your low mids, your mids. From orchestras all the way up through even EDM music has to do this with bass and mids and things like that. Everybody's got to occupy a sonic space. This is used to maximize my sonic space.
Okay.
This is so I have scoops on my bass because it has to leave space for kick drums, toms, floor toms, the bass itself.
Then you got the treble frequencies, which are the cymbals.
I have to leave space for cymbals and things like that. And then there's a lot of hiss in most amplified guitar signals
that you're cutting
on the trebles end where it's just.
Which is what Dolby noise reduction is, really.
I have a 9 decibel cut at 32 hertz, a 7.5 decibel cut at 62, a 2 decibel at 125. So I'm cutting a lot.
So just so I understand this from where I'm looking at it, like we're talking like this right here is your bass frequency, bass frequency, bass frequency, bass frequency.
250 is a low mids. 250 is where low mids start, and 250 specifically is where low mid where you hear about like it's just all honking mud and stuff like that.
Right.
That's
right.
So that has a pretty heavy scoop in it.
Right.
I'm thinking converge when I think low mids.
Yeah.
And then we're moving away from your low mids into regular
upper mids. Into mids and upper mids, where now I'm starting to boost a little bit. Where I've boosted.
You only boosted the 2 right here, and then everything else just
everything else
down.
is a little bit because 4K specifically, and people do this in post all the time. They notch 4K because 4K is a really sound. Outside of the context of distorted guitar. It's not something you really want to hear.
Of course.
And then the same thing, I have pretty much all of 16K scooped out because that's just hiss and whistle and fizz.
Eddie's favorite frequencies.
So now with that on, I can just do... It will poke through a really dense mix.
Yes.
It's giving you a little bit of snarly, but not too much.
Yeah.
That is my go-to rhythm tone every night. I plug in, and that is the sound it makes.
What I'm noticing here is that the overall level you're putting up on this.
I lost a little bit with all the cuts.
Yes,
so that's just to
Yes.
compensate. That's not doing anything.
Joe and I have gone back and forth about this, like off camera and whatnot, and I have yet to embrace having an EQ pedal on my board.
He bought one years ago.
Yeah,
it's been sitting in the box.
I think, and I'm going to say this before we go on to the next tone. If you have, in even an analog space, if you have good amp, and you can hit it you can hit the front of it really, really hard with like screaming pickups and a cranked like overdrive,
which we'll do later in the episode.
if you do all of that, an EQ pedal is probably about it. That's really all you need. You can get away. If you have a guitar with really, really hot pickups. And a really good high gain amp. Because like people that stack overdrives, I understand why people do it. in other kinds of music.
Well, it's mostly
In metal, if you're stacking overdrives, you're doing it because you don't stand
that
behind your gain channel.
Yeah.
or you want extra noise.
Yeah, like,
You want that feedback instantly.
exactly, because I love metal music, and I've loved it my entire life, cognitively listening to, like, actively choosing the music that I listen to. Yeah, it's really aggressive, but it can get really nasty in a bad way really quick.
Oh yeah, no.
It gets out of control really fast.
See the Boss HM2.
The Boss, so and again, like, so I'm sure you can hear it. There's a really weird kind of like grindy sound in the background. I actually love that because it almost has that kind of Swedish.
But you're cropping off those extra frequencies that you don't need.
Yes, the ones that are like really f***ing up. Yeah. But like. Don't sue me.
We listen.
Don't sue me.
We'll add some
Add
flames
notes.
to it or something.
Exactly.
But like, yeah, so like, I think that's that unto itself. That's the tone itself.
Right.
Delay and reverb.
I mean,
is
you-
on there, but we'll get to it later
Okay.
because
Mostly for specific.
it's all for lead tone because I think
Okay. Yes.
reverb and so there are people that like really really wet rhythm tones and people that like really dry rhythm tones. I'm on the dry side because I think reverb.
like Sahara Desert dry, or like we're like Arizona dry.
Arizona dry. There's
Okay,
a little bit
yeah,
there. Because there's a little bit there, but it's in low end. It's not in. It's in like really chewy low end. It's not in reverb and delays and like that. So, and this is one of those things. Like I'm of the school of thought where, because of what reverb does, what we know about reverb, just what it's meant to replicate and things like that, is the illusion of space. Where I'm gonna have to eat crow a little bit on later in this signal chain. Too wet of a signal. Like one of my good friends like prefers a wetter
It's always
rhythm
better.
channel.
Wetter.
Too much if you go too far to the far end of that though. Because reverb's creating the illusion of space.
You sound further away.
You sound further away. You start to lose size. This is keeping all that aggression all the way up front, all the time, all gas, no brakes, hate and discontent. I liken it to what it must feel like to open a machine gun. Definitely, it just like.
I mean, like honestly, like the weapon in itself is like truly like out there. So yeah, it needs that tone to like match that.
And getting really, really aggressive with it.
All this aggression.
All the aggression
is coming
up front
from-
is
just
is literally guitar is high output pickup
Yes.
into green pedal into high gain amp.
Yes.
Yes.
With an EQ to shape it.
Yes. Yes.
But hard clipping green pedal
and
with
then-
a better treble.
Yes.
And what speaker are you emulating here?
So, if you get a Pod Go, you can use the stock cabinets.
stock.
They recently, like right before they released the Stadium, the new one, they had done an overhaul of how their capture and cabinet driver works. So they are way better. Actually, when Victor brought his over to have me set up his IR and direct tones, he got the update and he got to use all the new stock cabs. But he is now using IRs.
Nice.
Because IRs do something that the stock cabs don't, and that is all the hard stuff.
So there's a difference between stock cab versus
The stock cabs in an
IR.
Yeah, so
Impulse response.
Yeah, so impulse responses are just a sonic profile snapshot of what that speaker sounds like with that
Right.
microphone placed right there.
Right.
Where I can play with where the modeled cabinet in Helix, I'm pretty sure there's cabinet modeling in Axe Effects and Quad Cortex.
all of them.
But pretty much everybody at that point is still using IRs because you pick your cabinet, you pick the microphone you want. Let's say you want to use put a 57 on it.
Yeah.
57 on Advantage 30? It's
Put 57 on a Advantage 30, call it the dome.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. All right. You're still at the merge. Honestly, that's a failsafe. I think there's a reason we talk about the V30 the way that we do.
It's the right amount of mid-range. Not too booming.
It's not crazy. Yeah, I think it could use a little more low end. I think because solely on the back of that amount of mid range feels unsupported, and it gets hissy after a while. And they have to do a lot of post processing to kind of shape around that.
And plus, with the 57, you're
With a 57, it's
always
already targeting that mid range, and the V30 also has a really narrow band of sweet spot. Where if you're not, one, right up against it, because you should close mic everything. And if you're not right there, if you're off to the left or right of it, you kind of lose that sweet spot. So IRs, in this case, John Simons from Sonic Drive Studios, if you watch his YouTube channel, he doesn't have to sponsor me. I just stand by his work.
Link in the chat.
But IRs, you're generally going to have a producer sat down and captured the speaker in his studio on his equipment with his microphones, got exactly what we wanted, and that's the sound.
Yeah.
Right. And this is
a Lichtschler Audio over in Germany. If you're familiar with like the Pandora power amp or the Gehenna overdrive, stuff like that. He now has the Prometheus amp. But with the Prometheus amp, he had also done speakers. It's a 150 watt speaker. It's an anti-V30.
Which is a super.
It is really geared towards a really aggressive tone.
So it's a very bright speaker, or
It's
like a mid-range?
Well,
It's really mid-rangey,
right.
but there's a lot of low end. But there's still a lot of low end.
Usually
content
the higher
that keeps it.
The higher wattage of the speaker, less treble frequency comes out, more bass frequencies come out. So,
Yeah, but it's not money.
Yeah.
Right. It's still got a lot of attack on there, up in the upper.
Which, if you were using like a standard Mesa cab pair with the Mesa amp, you would get a lot more muddy low end.
Yes. So this is it's shot in an ISO cab. The way he does them, he shoots them in an ISO cab. So this is a mix, I think, of a 57 and a 421.
Okay.
That he did the blend on and stuff like that, and I have low and high cuts on it.
Now, is it emulating also what angle the speakers are like?
Yes, So and the impulse response is doing all of that. It's the speaker, the microphone, the mic position is all captured in an IR, and I basically just have to say I want it to sound like that. Click on it. In this case, I set high and low cuts.
So what are these? So let's walk through the settings over here, because even I'm looking at it, it's like, what the does any of this mean? So number one, your IR select.
This is just the 20th IR that I have loaded on here.
It's the 20th.
So I have IRs from So you and Victor got me this. And then the IRs actually already on board. So the guy had actually already had some own hammer. So there were some own hammer IRs on here and stuff like that. But I have some Eminence IRs from Christian Cola of Cola Audio Cult. Also a YouTuber. It doesn't have to sponsor me. I just stand by my work. And we'll probably get into this later. Once you get into digital gear, you kind of have to give a about production a certain kind of way, like
because it is emulating a recorded amp sound and not an actual amp in a room without microphones, without context.
Yes. So you kind of have to give a So obviously, I learned a lot about speakers from YouTube University.
Amp in the room.
We'll get there because I'm gonna have to eat.
Eddie's having a seizure right now.
I'm in my Vietnam flashback moment. But so what I'm trying to understand here is that IR
select is just that's the one I have picked.
Like okay, that makes sense. Okay, now why are you low cutting and why are you high cutting here? Why are these things here?
Guitar speakers are really speakers by conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom, like this wedge right here, is a full range flat response speaker. It is just going to make what's fed into it louder.
I mean, and just a PA speaker, by the way.
Yeah. Well, they're still full range flat response. That's just the type of amplification that is.
Right.
Is just gonna make whatever's fed into it louder.
So basically, the Fender FR 10 and 12 are literally
shouldn't do anything to
just
sound.
It's not trying to color the sound at all.
Exactly.
It's literally a PA speaker inside a Fender amp.
Yes.
It's not a Hot Rod Deluxe case.
So what a guitar speaker does is it amplifies a very narrow band of frequency.
Right.
Generally like 70 to 6,500 hertz.
Okay.
By conventional wisdom, what a speaker's meant to do, which is just take what's fed into it and make it louder. Guitar speakers really struggle to amplify all of those frequencies with the same efficiency.
Right.
Which means if you have an IR that's not already have high and low pass or high and low cut filters, depending on what you are. High and low cut is more illustrative of what they do because a high pass filter is a low cut.
Yeah.
So
So all you're doing is taking the frequencies of the speaker that technically speaking does not exist.
That doesn't exist because otherwise what's going to get fed into here from the direct out is going to be all of that. It's just noise at that point. It's just noise and hiss and crackle and BS.
So this 90 hertz and the 68 hertz over here that you're cutting down, is that just like a stock thing when it comes down to the presets? Or
no, I had to do that because so this IR, so I have other IRs that don't have any cuts on them anyway. That don't have any high or low cuts because that was done in the studio before they rented and sold them to the public.
Yeah, it wasn't.
This was a captured.
You having to compensate for someone else's lack of work.
Yes.
So inside the system, you can specifically say,
I don't want to hear anything under 90 hertz, and I don't want to hear anything over.
Oh, okay, so that's how it works. Okay, okay, and this option exists in the other
in all the other
cabinets and others. Right. All right.
Why 90 hertz? Because same thing, leaving sonic space.
Yeah.
This speaker's meant to amplify everything down to I think like 68.
But
I'm cutting it off at 90 because there's kicks and because there's kick drums and floor toms and bass.
I play bass in your band, so like
exactly. So
that is your
space.
I feel as though we could boost that a little bit more, so you can give me more. But give
him more.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
and he needs more.
And 6600 does two things. At 6600, one, we're kind of getting to the far end of what guitar speakers will amplify.
Right.
Also, anything past that is all the nasty in a bad way.
Yeah.
So that's basically me just trying to get that sound under control and get the best version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying that I'm going to Cleveland to be in the Rock Hall and get inducted anytime soon.
Cleveland does rock.
But I mean, I'm a firm believer in I should play for free people the same way I would 3,000 people. So if people spend $15 of their own money, I should give them the best.
The last one.
Yeah.
How many drinks?
So why is there a mix thing on here?
Like mix is I can mix it with dry signal.
You're blending it.
I can blend it with dry signal, so my mix is 100% because I'm only getting the speaker.
Right.
So that's all that is.
Like you could have the stock EQ without the shelving, and then you can blend it in.
Yeah, that's me blending that, but it's 100% mix.
Because he just wants.
I just want that.
Yeah.
And then your level over here is just like I don't need the full volume of this thing. Like it's too much if that's the case.
So now this is where I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
Say it.
Say it.
Save for the back. Save for the cheap seats in the back.
It's not that amp in the room's not real. In the room is a really hoity-toity way to say reverb. So here's the thing: every guitar sound you've ever heard came out of somebody stuck a microphone in front of a speaker, and unless you took your amp in the room and you played it into a box and boxed that up and sent it to me, and I opened the box and that was it. That's the only way I'm going to hear what you're hearing in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So every guitar tone you've ever heard is a pre-recorded. What your amp sounds like in the room, I'm never going to experience that. For the same reason that mic placement is a thing. Mm-hmm. Our ears are basically microphones, or microphones are basically ears. Mm-hmm. So if I sat an analog cabinet here,
we will do later.
And I played through it.
Yeah.
Even from me to you, we are hearing two different things.
Mm-hmm. Just from spatial distance.
Just the nature of how sound works.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
and then we kind of come back to how V30s have that really, really tight trajectory of where that sound goes. Mm-hmm. So once I take a very typical sound and I can get it there,
right,
I can send it out of a PA speaker, full range, any kind of full range flat response, and I'm getting a much more even dispersion of what that sound is. All the way from the front of the room all the way to the back of the room. Mm-hmm. It's everybody's hearing the same.
Well, as close to the same as you can.
Because
there's always the chaos of the room.
Exactly.
Yeah. And this reverb that you don't have turned on right now.
No, I have it on right now.
You have it on right now.
The room reverb is basically there to mimic the sound of any kind of bleed that those mics would be picking up. Mm-hmm. Because this IR was shot in an ISO cab.
Right.
There's nothing. It doesn't exist. Yeah, it's completely dry. That room reverb is just there. It's like the mix is on 15%. Because it's there to kind of replicate. It's replicating the space of wherever that mic would have picked up my bleed from.
Play a riff. Play your own band's riff. Yeah. Really
It's really subtle.
It's
It's meant to be subtle.
You could hear it better at a higher volume in a room.
Yes, it's meant to be very subtle. It's
Right.
just, and again, this is why I kind of have to eat a little bit of crow on it. Is that
People haven't progressed to the point where they only want completely artificial tones now.
yeah,
Everything is emulating a real thing.
yeah, and that's why I think one, I don't hate gear. I just hate having to carry it because I can't pay people to carry it for
Exactly.
me. Two, it's starting to get expensive,
Starting.
especially like. It's not a political show, but tariffs are a thing. So eventually it's going to get more expensive.
So you mentioned that this is your rhythm tone.
That's the rhythm tone.
This is the rhythm tone, and this is something that I kind of like understand now about the power behind the Pod Go, or much rather Line 6, is that you can instead of turning on and off your pedals like a madman, you can say this pedal configuration with these pedals on is one thing.
This is the setting this is the preset that I'm on.
Yes.
For the whole, not the whole show.
I mean, like majority of it. Like 95%. 95%.
Everything outside of a whopping 13 bars of music, so probably a net 15 seconds. I'm on this setting.
All right, so show me how you switch to your other settings without having to turn like go.
Okay, so my lead tone is now the same amp.
Hold on one second. Okay, so there it is. So
Yeah.
basically, this controls the snapshots, which
Yes.
Oh, okay, and I can see now.
Yeah, so
where, like,
it's
things are
basically
turning on.
the way the snapshot mode works is you basically set a preset. You set a preset, and then your snapshots are basically just different layouts of that same preset.
And then you could have
So-
as many banks as, yeah.
Kind of sort of. So I have 4 on here because it's not a full helix.
Yeah, of course.
But like like I said, this is a green pedal, high gain amp, EQ. Green pedal, high gain amp, EQ,
A little bit of volume boost.
reverb and delay.
Yeah,
and
reverb and delay.
so on the amp in here because I can change parameters. That's also switching a whole bunch of parameters on all the amps and shit like that. That turns on my delay. It turns on my plate reverb
Right.
because I just think it's a little more percussive than
Yeah,
like
of
a
course.
hall or something like that. And it boosts my gain a little bit. I get a little bit more of a mid boost from the amp, and
Just so you can poke
and a
out.
volume. Yeah, and it's just there to lift solos. It's. Normally what I'll do live is I will actually drop my G string down to F sharp. Because that was also kind of getting into 7 strings. This is like the low-key part of the story was when you're a band and you go from standard to drop D, that's one guitar, you just drop it.
Yeah, life's easier that way.
When we went to B standard, it was, I'm either having to bring 2 guitars to everything, whether it's a baritone or a setup guitar for it, which I have. I'm actually in the process of trying to have it brought back up. Or I could get a 7 string, and I'm basically using it as like a concentric double neck.
Yeah.
Where it's like instead of having like a double neck where I could have like a baritone neck and a standard tuning neck, if I drop this a half step,
It's the
just
equivalent.
baritone tuning with an extra high E. Where now it's standard tuning with an extra low B.
So instead of it being an E standard with a B string on top, it's B standard with an extra E string.
Yeah, because like in E, I can like just for.
Just simplifying things.
Yeah, it's so.
It's like,
So how
it's like
often-
base 10 math versus base 5 math.
So
Exactly.
so then how often throughout the show are you tuning that half step up and down?
It depends on the layout of the set list.
Okay.
Because I'm generally like there.
I mean, we just played a gig.
There are
so,
times
like-
I'm not even.
there's
So I
times-
only have to do it twice.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
there are times where I'm not even using. I'm only using those bottom 4 strings.
Right.
And if that's the case, I'm just not even going to touch it.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
If you were to guess, how many emulator pedal people still have a tuner pedal separate. They don't know that they could do it in the box.
There's one where you look at Quad Cortex, which is kind of the market leader at this point.
Of course.
It's not super apparent. Like, this says tuner right there on there, so I know that that's the button I have to push. It doesn't say that I have to hold it down. I have to figure that out. But what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to just how do you get into it?
He's in a different bank.
So you're just okay.
No, stop
pressing.
Okay,
You
you
can
push
delete everything, Eddie.
And
then you scroll.
That's the end of the episode.
Yeah,
Eddie
yeah.
just wipes the drive.
Good. Good.
It's a factory reset mode.
Yeah.
This answers my burning question because I was really gonna ask. I was like, listen,
Bird.
do you actually look for other amps out there for different sounds? Because
I don't think I would if you told me that we were gonna start ska band, would I use a dual rectifier? No.
Hey, guess what? Loud did.
Yeah. Sublime is a triple
Flavor
rectifier.
Tsunamis, Connect Your Represent.
Sublime self-titled. There's a triple rectifier.
Just because
on
it's
that.
clean and then super high gain.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Yeah, no. There's a triple rectifier on Sublime's self-titled.
yeah, I can believe that.
Did you get from the pawn shop?
Yeah, probably.
Well, I asked this is because my question that I allude to, and that will bring us into the next segment, is: are you truly experiencing the amp by doing this?
Yeah. I haven't used a Kemper, I haven't used an XFX. I've seen a Quad Cortex. And it sounded great.
Yeah.
I talked to the person using it before too, so
It's an iPad with switches.
effectively. That is entirely in the eye of the beholder, and did you do a good capture? Did you model it well? Because if you modeled it like an idiot, no, it's gonna be different.
Right.
Listen, if I had a really rectifier model,
Although if you were playing some 41, it probably worked.
I think they modeled some amps better than others.
Yeah.
But also, this is kind of a living. The Podgo is. I don't know what's going to happen with the Helix now that the stadium's out, but they're also living. Part of it being a computer is that it is kind of a living device. They update things all the time, and they'll change drivers, and they did an overhaul of how the cabinet block works. So
I bring this up because what I want you to do next is experience an actual tube amp.
I've done it, and it's kind of sucked.
Well,
So I think there's actually going to be... It didn't kind of suck, and it sucked for me, and that was what it was. I feel like a missing link of this story, we got into 7 strings and how we got here, but how we got here... But from there, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to get a pretty decent amp at this point if we're going to be playing music in a live setting, and contend with a drummer, and stuff like that. So... I got the 40-watt Black Star tube joint. The one that everybody's my first tube amp.
I hate that one.
It's one of those amps where, Black Star, in and of itself, makes very good equipment. It's just one of those things where it's like buying a Volkswagen.
Yeah. Hard to fix.
Hard to fix, and it's hard to find somebody that will do it.
Yeah.
Because you have to, because then that person that does it has to reach out to Black Star themselves, get schematics to do it.
To be honest, it's similar with Mesas too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
But the Mesa is just such a known commodity that there's people modding on it at this point, like that. So and that amp was what it was. When it worked, and I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know how important boosting an amp was. Putting an overdrive in front of a high gain amp. I didn't realize how important that was at the time. I think I would have had a different experience if I knew that going in. But I also had a whole bunch of just tube amps maintenance problems. Or I had what I thought was a fuse yellow. No, I shorted the power cable. The amp actually was kind of fine, but it jacked up the digital reverb circuit on it and like that. And I was like, "There's got to be a better way to do this.
There's got to be a better way.
There's got to be a better way to do this." And I figured I was like, "Okay, well." That's when I was looking into preamp pedals and things like that. And it's like, okay, well, preamp pedals can fit in a gig bag.
Yeah.
And preamp pedals can fit in a gig bag, and now Orange has this little 100-watt Class D power amp that I can just sit on top of cabs. That's the whole thing.
I can go to anything too. It's
Exactly.
4 to 16.
And then I had a pedal board for a while where I had this and this and a power amp, and it was like, And that's when I realized, I was like, I'm going to buy pedals until I'm blue in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I might as well just spend the money that I might as well spend for a pedal.
Mm-hmm. And just get everything.
And that has everything.
Everything that you thought you wanted, and you get to try it in context to see if you like it.
I didn't have to buy a dual rectifier when I find out I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
If I decide I don't like this, I will just, maybe I'll try a Wagner Uberschall or a 5150 or buy the Shiva or something like that. Like,
I promise we will talk about this, but before we do that, it's now time, ladies and gentlemen, for a commercial break as we change sets and we officially go out and let Max play with a tube amp that he can't buy himself.
correct.
Beyond the blue horizon, far underneath the clouds, in a small studio that most people don't know about, lives a small local business, Free Ray Media Productions, where its versatile studio space transforms your creative vision into powerful, lasting content, whether it's through video, audio, photography, and podcasting. To learn more about this multimedia company, as well as showing your interest in our services with your own media projects, follow me on Instagram at Free Ray Media Productions. Links can be found in my link tree. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel of the same name.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my new podcast. I've decided to enter into your lives through your television screen, or let's be honest, your phone screen. I'm a music snob. Snob! And even the worst kind of music snob deserves his piece and opinions to be out there. It's gonna be a whirlwind of fun times, stupid ideas, and you know what? Just gonna be me. But you know what? The message is very clear and very simple. Call me Eddie on YouTube. I gotta subscribe.
gentlemen. And now, the second part of today's agenda. We've gone through the digital, all right? We've explored it, we've understood it now, but what I want you to do is to see through my eyes why we still carry heavy objects. Now, Joe, over here, is graciously lending us his rig, his new rig, so that way you can understand why this.
And the viewer at home.
Yeah,
and the viewer at home.
I understand what a two-man play is. I wouldn't be doing what I do if I didn't know how any of this works.
All I'm trying to say is that there's an experience here that you need to have, only because it's important for you to recognize this. So, I challenge you, sir, with this beer in hand, all right? Because in order to find great tone, you have to find it with a good beer.
For the good folks.
Exactly. For the good folks at home is, I want you to find a tone that you like.
That I like.
That you like. Any tones that you like off of here, whether it be clean, whether it be muddy, whether it be all over the place, and it's going to be straight into the amp over here. And Joe will be your Yoda to guide you through all these things with different options that you may have.
And then afterwards, we also have my pedal board. It's a limited pedal board, but it's got overdrive, fuzz, chorus, delay. And then we also have a Big Muff clone because I wanted to try a 7-string with Big Muff into a Marshall. That's the corn tone, the early corn tone.
So I will genie myself out of here, but I leave a lingering question that you should ask Joe. And that is, Joe, what the is this?
Yeah.
All right. So this is basically, this is a company in Indonesia.
Okay.
They make clones of everything: Penner amps, Son amps, Marshalls, and Friedmans, even that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I see the font on here, and I was like, I thought it was a Friedman when you brought it in.
This one basically is from the JTM 50 until the 72 Plexi. Everything is switchable.
Okay, cool.
Basically, between all the Plexis, it's minor differences of
Yeah.
capacitors and resistors and negative feedback and all that. So basically, what I have it set up right now, do this. It's basically a 72 Plexi.
Okay.
All right.
EL34s in the back?
EL34 is 50 watts, so you got only got a pair of them. This, everything's in new.
Like right there, so that's a workable tone right there. Especially on a Marshall 72 Plexi.
Now,
We can do that.
the thing that makes the 72 specifically is the brake cap. It has a 3-way brake cap switch.
Okay.
In that center is no brake cap at all. Right, it's like a 60s. A little bit extra clarity. And then 70s is...
There's a lot of heat.
helps distort the front end. Now, also, these two switches are basically changing resistors in the first two preamp stages.
Okay.
And then this one is boost, which basically cuts out the EQ. So when it's on the left, it's straight 100% EQ.
Okay, just what I'm looking at.
Yeah. Now, when you switch it all the way to the right, it's about half. So the EQ's still working, but you have so much more preamp going through. And then in the middle, it's basically like an old Fender Tweed amp where there's no EQ section at all. Now, it gets even crunchier too. Now the standard Plexi setup is usually everything on 10 except for the bass
Yeah.
on 0. And then you... basically, a lot of people would bridge the 2 channels. This one has a built-in. Pull that knob. Now you got both channels on. Alright, so I'm putting everything back down the middle.
Back at noon and get the tones.
Yeah. Now you also have the option switch between solid state and two rectifier tube. I mean.
Okay.
So this one will make it a little spongier.
Yeah.
Now let's compare that right now. It's always good to just put it on
Yeah,
standby
standby
switch.
between the two.
So it's a little thinner in the base, but you know it's all in.
It tightens it.
Exactly. Now also this amp has effects loop, has a negative feedback switch which controls how much gain is coming from the power stage back into the preamp, which makes it chuggier. It also has a half power switch, which is more like a 3/5 because it's pento triode.
Okay.
So you bring the power down. What I do is I have this Surfy Bear spring reverb pedal, and I keep it in the effects loop. It has 2 settings, so you can have your normal, you have your super splashy, and also has tremolo. Now, if you want to just give a sound, the reverb's on right now. Oh wait, stand by. Brown face tremolo, which is like almost a proto phaser. Basically, you can control whether that's before or after the reverb.
No.
Yeah, so if it's post reverb, then it's also chopping up the reverb trills.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's chopping, and then if it's pre. So, best of both worlds. Real. Now, I usually run my very limited pedal board into it. I'm going to throw this in here. Basically, what I got right now is it's a clone of an Analog Man King of Tom.
Okay.
Right side is soft clipping, left side tar clipping.
Okay.
Alright, let's try that first. Just, let's get this wrapped in the middle. Doyle, you gotta scoop that.
Yeah, scoop the mids all the way.
But yeah, basically, you know, obviously, as you were saying, with any kind of amp, you gotta, if you want to do any kind of heavy metal, or you gotta tighten it up with something. And I have it set up so you can compare and contrast whether you like the soft or the hard. It's basically a blues breaker, so it's more flat mids.
Okay, yeah.
But it still cuts out the low end.
Yeah.
And then next to it, I got a K-Fuzz, which is similar to a Super Fuzz. that's what the scoop, basically the middle knob controls the mid-range.
Okay.
So the classic, super fuzz thing is the second setting on the hyper fuzz, right? Alright, now after this we got the chorus. There's the analog band. Of course, and this one you can also...
Even with all this gain coming into it,
between 9 volt and 12 volt gives it a little more bass. And then I got my analog delay.
that's a lot of delay.
And this is all... basically everything on here is analog.
So yeah, okay, so you get a load out. Now I understand.
A little goes a long way if you plan properly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where if you have it all here live,
Yeah.
you lose a lot of the control.
Yes.
It just adjusts how you go about it.
And it limits you. It's so you're not thinking, all right, I gotta change everything.
Yeah.
Because you have everything.
Yeah, so it's all right here.
Yeah, when you have this, you're just like, all right, it sounds good. Let's make it work.
Yeah, because even here, just here, I was going to dial in the tone that I want. Boost on is that way?
Boost. This is the least amount of gain going through the preamp, and then this is halfway none.
Okay. So I'm going to just go straight in, and we're going to get started. We're going to dial this tone, ladies and gentlemen.
Basically, that's the lower input, so you're getting like a few dB drop.
Okay. Which one is the one I was in earlier?
This one. Alright, so. Now, do you want me to take out the reverb just for now?
Yeah, just for right now.
So I'm turning off the effects loop.
All I'm hearing right now is you get a lot of low end on tap, which we like. Because I'd rather have more than I can sculpt out, which is no different than what I was doing.
Now, in this cab, too, it's basically a 40-watt version of a greenback.
Okay.
So it's not too much.
No, it's not,
in a
yeah.
speaker, at least,
Yeah, so like I might only tilt, so I can tilt this back. 10 o'clock.
Just cut a little
Bring
bit.
it in a little bit. The mids I actually don't even want to touch.
Treble.
Bring some treble, maybe knock that over to
Now-
2 o'clock.
And like also comparing the two different bright caps too, because you get a lot more crunch going in the front end with the 70s bright cap. The 60s is a little smoother.
And at that point, so right here, with it on, like right there, that's another one. It's a perfectly workable tone.
And it works a lot better with humbuckers compared to
Yes.
closed, so
Yeah.
it's definitely an
Because you have the Jazzmaster on.
Yeah, I have which again has one way pod, super bright pickups.
Yeah.
So you would need.
So yeah, you
some
really
treble.
are pushing it. Yeah. So and this is one of those things that you have to go about it differently. But you still have to do all of this in digital. Where it is finding you kind of holy. What if we use our ears to find out what we want to hear? Here, this one is which switch is this?
Okay, that's the character that just changes two different capacitors for the presence knob.
Okay.
Also the presence, controls how much treble gets into the power section.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for explaining that, because I didn't know what presence was for quite some time. I just recently found out.
So you can lower your volume and get fully toned too.
Yeah, exactly. This is also a pickup discussion at the same time, where like
yeah.
I have so much output that I'm going to start overloading it and clipping it. It gets really, really, especially on a neck pickup.
Which is why we should actually try and see how you like
Yeah.
the sound in the lower input. Because I think it's dropping about 3 dB. Actually, let's see how you like the crunch tone with a little bit less input.
Yeah, a little bit less. So that's super modern. I mean, the riff came out last year. So
Yeah, and it's basically, it's just taking a little bit of the sizzle off.
yeah.
It's not so much.
Which, again, in an analog space, like where in digital I have all that control.
Exactly.
You could very easily enter a venue where you have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sizzle is great until it becomes too much, and you'll hear it when you lose your syllables.
Mm-hmm. Or even vocals.
Yeah.
Depending how high your singer is. Not how high your singer is, but how high your singer sings.
Yeah, like you can lose it fairly quickly.
What else are you looking for at the moment?
I might scoop some more notes. We should actually have a fair amount. Because what you're looking for, obviously I'd be aided once we get into the pedal board by tightening it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I may have now realized, hey, maybe I scooped too much bass.
Of course.
Because your bass is going to be decided on, for what I do, bass is decided that sound. How much meat you can get into a palm mute.
Now also, because you have the access to bridge the channels, you can add more of the deep dark channel in with the bright.
Yeah. Sounds like they're like slightly out of phase too, so you get a really cool effect. If you told me, hey, I had to show up, I have to use this rig, and I have to go straight in, this would be it. This is where I would call it, because all I'm going to get past here, straight from guitar straight into amp, I wish I had a tube screamer up front.
Of course.
That's it.
Now we have not exactly tube screamer EQ-wise, but similar.
Just similar. So when people talk about a tube, like obviously for people at home, if you're watching this, you probably have some understanding of gear. A tube screamer up front, you're not putting any gain in it. The common thing to do is just gain at 0, level at 10, and then you adjust your tone to taste. Because all that does is sweep where you're boosting the mids.
Exactly. Now, like I said, on the right side, I put the gain down to 0. So let's just, with this tone you got right here, see if you can just sculpt it a little bit more. And obviously you can switch it.
Yeah.
Definitely getting a little bit looser, which for some
Exactly. So at a certain point, gain will just do that.
Yeah. Well, that's
and
why
that's when you go over. When I would switch over to a hard clip and not gain off at the amp. like with an at the gates rim, that it's almost giving it a little bit of an HM2.
Not quite the mid range, but that treble.
But yeah, there's a certain level of nasty that we can appreciate.
Now, with your needs, obviously you would need a gate or some sort of.
Yes, at this point, because I am every time I'm not playing, my volume's all the way down.
Which
we're still
you
getting
can obviously you get a separate gate, or you can get like a precision drive with one built in.
Yeah, drives that have gates built in are awesome. And I had a gate circuit on one of my preamp pedals that I was using before I went over to digital.
Yeah.
And that's what you're looking for is you want it to work the way you would do a gate would work, like an NS2 would work.
Yeah.
4-cabled, where you're basically sending your guitar signal. The only thing you should put in front of your gate is tuner and maybe a pitch shifter if you're using it.
Yeah.
So right into the input, send it to your drives. All your drives should go into the return, and then your output goes out to the rest of the signal. And then you're not getting that thing there. Gates saying, "Oh, gates chopped my signal."
Yes. Yeah, it's not. Did it.
It's chopping your signal because if you just straight line it all the way after, there's so much happened to your signal before it got to the gate that it doesn't know what your signal is anymore.
This is just because of my inclinations. I always think Danzig 6.
Yes.
Did it. Like there's no breathing room.
Yeah. When it clips your signal like that.
Obviously, you can mess with the delay of the chorus. You get like a lead tone.
Yeah. Okay. So right there, that is a perfect example of. Here's where I would get it. Like I think the bass tone here from overdrive, bypassing all of this going into the front of the amp, we're in really, really good shape.
Now also you gotta take into account we're very close to the amp.
Yeah, where space is a little bit of a break.
There's points on stage where you can find there's less feedback, but it's still not gonna get rid of that. It's that noise when it's off.
Yeah. Because now on a lead tone.
Delays, especially on a higher gain tone, kind of get lost in the sauce.
Yeah. This is why the loop exists. In high gain settings, that's why your loop exists.
This is actually a manual noise gate.
Yeah. Gate it. Kill switch it.
Here, give us a bucket head. Mess with right now.
You want to hear the corn stuff?
I want it, since we have access to a 7-string right now.
It's an Ibanez 7-string too. Yeah, you guys got it.
So we got, this is a Ramstead Big Muff clone. It's called Jazz Fuzz. Let's see, battery's working. So, Rich Robinson, I believe.
Yes.
It was the guy who did the first 2 Slipknot albums, technically first 2. He had a big collection of pedals. He basically wanted to take modern metal and record it in a 70s way and use a lot of 70s effects.
That's super. That's the thing. I don't hate gear because it's digital. Because I like digital. I like digital because it's easier for me.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of cool people doing really cool.
Especially if you have a studio.
Yeah, when you have the studio space, you're not having to move it anywhere outside of maybe on wheels across the room.
Yeah, for a room to another. All right. So basically, right now we put everything in noon. All right, this is the dry tone.
I love Korn. Korn came to me in like a freshman year of high school.
Of course.
Obviously, they've been around. That was Coming Undone. Was like the coolest song I ever
I
heard.
had the Twisted Transistor 45 actually. That was where late Korn.
So listen, if you come into a show with the other band, you'll see me. There's a point where I will just do this.
And he's doing it without the heroin. It's not necessary.
Yes. Less hair. I used that.
More hair than in. But, you know.
But
So, I'm just going to throw a little bit of reverb in here just for fun. Just mess with the reverb a little bit. Basically, dwell controls how long the decay is like a gate tone. This is your mixer for this channel. This just controls how much volume goes in the front of it.
okay, cool. Darren used an Iceman.
And for the clean tones in the studio, he used a Fender Jazzmaster.
No
into a Marshall. And also those early ones for a Metal Zone into a Marshall. It worked.
Yeah, the best of the Metal Zone.
Now that we know the basics,
So, I mean, like, for me, I think the one question I have is, what are you missing right now?
What am I missing?
Yeah, what are you missing?
This is one of those, it's not what I'm missing, it's a nice to have. It becomes a nice to have.
Ah.
And that's kind of the core, like when I did the tone, the Hot Go tone, it was all in the spirit of, what do I need the guitar to sound like?
Yeah.
And how can I judge it from there? Again, it's overdrive into high gain amp with an MXR 10 band. The MXR 10 band is the one thing that's just not in here.
Right.
That I could scoop specific bass frequencies. Because obviously, 3-band EQ, 4 even like just regular band EQs that are on the front of amps.
Yeah.
Boost and cut a range of frequencies.
Yes,
I can't just say this frequency, I want less of it.
Yes.
You can, and then there's parametric EQs where you're getting into weird, where I'm scooping this much of this frequency and this decibel, like where you're getting really into the minutia. But I'm a very firm believer in digital is giving you the consistency. That is the big takeaway from digital. That's your buy-in, is the consistency.
Right.
Because I sat here, you sure it didn't take me very long to do it. And while I understand that, I can't take this rig down the hall and have it sound the same. If I bump this mic, bumping the mic has added a variable.
How does it feel to play out of an actual 4x12, dude?
It's nice in terms of feedback. It means it's not like the sweep on those knobs is the knobs are very loose. It's almost like on Podgo, there's more give on the knobs there. There's some resistance to the knobs on these, which just feels nice, and that's why I like the pots on here, because there's resistance there. The moving air thing, and I'm just gonna a whole bunch of people off. I feel it here. You're not gonna feel it over there. The sound fills the room differently. The sound fills the room differently.
Fills the room differently. Right.
Differently.
Right.
Is not, but is it make or break for your audience experience? No. I don't think it's going to make or break audience experience. I don't think it makes or breaks your playing experience. Again, like it fills the room differently, and it feels like there's somebody much younger than me that's going to buy a digital rig and has no context. This was how 2010 we met each other. What 2009, 10? This is just what it was. We were in small rooms with.
Gas. We wish we had it.
We didn't have this, no, but I mean, but regardless, we had speakers. It was amps and speakers in relatively small rooms. So there's a nostalgia there, and this might be bleeding into the next segment. Guitar players are probably the most nostalgic people on the planet. We're just by our nature, and that's a lot of the hang-up that people have against going digital, is that it doesn't sound the same, it doesn't feel the same. Empirical, what it sounds like is what we're after in the performance space. Once I have to take it somewhere, that becomes is the juice worth the squeeze.
This is
As modelers get better, I think the juice is the.
Well, basically, what I was trying to tell Eddie a couple of weeks ago. We are the buffer generation because we grew up on Line 6 spiders and.
When solid state and digital sucked.
We were there.
There was a time where it sucked.
We were there when the Ford dropped.
Basically, we were. It's like how we were right before the internet was the internet of everything.
Yeah.
And it was just a thing in your in a room. We're the buffer generation between the two, where kids now have everything.
Yeah.
And they have it all at their feet, and they don't care about this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, like this, I can appreciate this because again, we all came up when we were doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Or some version of it. In high school it wasn't this nice.
Mm-hmm.
But some version of this. We were all doing some version of this because the Line 6 Spider sucked.
Don't tell that to Eddie.
The Line 6 Spider sucked, and in hindsight...
He had the 4-button foot switch. He's a Spider 2 defender.
And it's not that digital and solid state sucked as much as there's another aspect to this where no one knew how to use it. Because, again, what I did here... The bare bones understanding of what all these parameters are doesn't change. The nature of those frequencies and how I do them. Like, obviously, so my gain on my rectifier tone is 4.7.
Yeah.
That's pretty low.
Yeah.
But analogous to the analog amp, probably at maybe like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So, I just have to obviously, they mean different things, but I'm still going to be able to get the same sound. And I still have to twiddle all the knobs and stuff like that, even though the knobs don't feel as high dollar.
You can get those in-between tones on this.
Yeah.
This is like you have to...
There's a lot of
lights.
That's the thing. Like right here, when I say it's a nice to have, what am I missing from this? It is, honestly, could be done with a 10-band EQ. Because that's where you get those kind of really minutia level...
Exactly. This is a good time to transition to something else, but if it didn't break your back, would you actually bring this out to gigs?
Yeah, at that point I would have no reason not to.
To be fair, I know you guys, you played in mostly upscale venues compared to
Facts.
There's a lot of shows that I played. I'd say about 99% of them.
Yep.
PA was just for the vocals.
Yes.
No, and there's no getting away from that in reality.
No.
So my rig, I own a 212.
And you got
specific for those, I have a
Electronics 44 watt.
Yeah, the 44 watt power amp that I just send out to a 212 in the event that I can't go to rec.
Yeah. Or you do both.
Yeah, I've done that.
To say you have a stage volume, so it's hitting you in the butt, and then you got the...
Yeah, and I've done that, and that's worked fine. If I wasn't the one carrying it, sure, I bring this everywhere, but now I want to have the sound guide to it the way that it does every time, so it sounds good every night.
With that said, I think it is now time we sit and we break bread / food
and bowls
and
balls.
Let's break balls.
Hey.
And let's talk. And let's talk about this entire experience from start to go.
And whatever.